All right, live chat's coming up in just a second. Let me just say, welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and even if that super fan thanks thing at the bottom. Now the algorithm is happy, and we can start the show. I see a few of you already jumping on. Great. All right, Jordan. Hey, Jordan. Thanks for coming. Steve's here as usual. Hi, Steve. And I feel like I'm on Romper Room if you're my age. Anybody here old enough to remember Romper Room? But the teacher was like kindergarten class on TV, and she said, "I see Bobby and Joey and Tommy and Sally and all that." Oh man, Steve's old. He remembers. Brian too. All right, so it's Geezer Club. If you guys remember this, on there. I'm now Social Security age, so got some money on there. All right, so Michael's here, and Michael, I think you're still doing what you're doing, right? And I think I see the wrench, so I think you can do what you're doing. And Zach is here. Thanks, Zach, for coming. Michael, if I got to do something, let me know. Let me see. Michael's helping me out. Yeah, okay, you're good as always. All right. Because we have crazy people who like to write nasty things. Not about me, but just nasty things in general. So Michael's been nice enough to help. All right, Steve, here we go with the hour question. Steve, what's the best tasting real food replacement you've tried? The pastrami, one of the real meats. Pastrami's not bad. Not big on the cauliflower or anything. It's okay on that. Matter of fact, it's not real food replacement, but this week is Papa John's new crustless pizza. I think it comes out this week. Maybe I'll try Wednesday to get it, where we're going to see what it's like. I don't have high expectations on this, but whatever. We tried. Saw somebody from England had baked beans on a pizza slice. Oh, man. That was awful. You can't do stuff like that. I do like pizza for anybody new out there. We're getting a few people coming in now on there. All right, so it's 8 o'clock. Time for the show. Yeah, we hit the bell and we start now, finish. All right, so I guess everybody wants to talk about Brian Robinson. I wish I had more of an update because the team hasn't said anything since Rivera talked around noon. But it's been a little more. Police stuff has come out. Kind of bugging here. And he said basically they've recovered a 9mm Glock that they believe is part of this. That the surveillance cameras, because in D.C. everything's under a camera, somebody, even your doorbell camera. They saw where they jumped into a car close by, and the car was found later in Maryland and Prince George's County, just over the line for those of you not from here. Hey, how you doing? So, they got a line on them. They're like, they believe they're teenagers. They were one of them was wearing a smiley face, yellow smiley face. Seriously, you're wearing a yellow smiley face and you're going to shoot somebody? And there's reports now that basically, I guess they met him at the car, and Brian tried to struggle with them, grab a gun, and so he was shot in the lower leg and also in his butt. And the good news is those aren't vital organs or anything, so he'll be okay there. Of course, Rod says no idea on it because they just don't know. I mean, I can't remember last time Andre Bloch was the last ball player I remember who was shot and came back like that. Unfortunately, a lot of guys don't, like Sean Taylor. So I have no idea. They could put him on the physically unable to perform non-football list, which would have him out for 4 weeks. Could be longer. Right now it's all up in the air. Jonathan Allen said that he understood that Robinson was going to be released from the hospital today. He had had surgery earlier. Robinson posted an Instagram post where I could see the basilica in the background, so we know he's in the hospital over near Northeast, saying things were good. So, I'm happy for that because this is about life more than football. Having said that, this is going to be a big blow for the team too. He was going to really carry a lot of the load, and maybe still will on this. I'm not dismissing it. I just don't know. And anybody who says they know is lying because nobody knows yet what's going to happen, including Brian. He's going to need to recover. I lost a family member to gun violence in a road rage incident over 30 years ago. and my brother-in-law was killed. And I can tell you, it's a traumatic experience and lasts a long time. And Brian's going to have with that, but they did have team officials at the hospital, including Dan Snyder and his wife Tanya, and coach, some mental counselor they have. I know all of us love to say mean things about Dan Snyder, but I will say, when people need you medically, Dan Snyder is there for him. And so I was not surprised that he was at the hospital. Okay, let me catch up with some questions. When's my OnlyFans thing? That's already on YouTube. So you want to see my shoulders, whatever, OnlyFans, it's there. I'm not doing any more, I think. I think OnlyFans doesn't want me to. All right, let's see. Dubs family's here, thank you. Mojo Daddy Mystic, like that name. Prayers up for Brian. Absolutely, man. Abe, glad some of the key players are practicing again. Yeah, they got Bates is back. Cole Turner's back. I don't know if Logan Thomas is back. I don't know if it's going to be ready for opening day, but that's good. And then the guards are all back now. Norwell came. They all come back. Trey Turner is back. I'm missing somebody. My notes. Schweitzer. Yeah. So Norwell gave it his first interview. I've seen prisoners of war say less under duress. I mean, treated fairly, basically is what he said. I mean, he said nothing the other day. And as player, I mean, Brandon Sheriff was just like that too. And some guys just don't want to talk to us. That's fine. You have First Amendment right on there. All right, so Zach says Terry and John Allen had good pressers today. Yeah, Terry also talked. Terry's a very intelligent young man. And, he does this team well, represented. Paul asks, is Robinson's leg in a cast? Don't know. They've not given any information out about any of that. I think by tomorrow we may know a little more, but the press conference, around noon tomorrow, 11 a.m. No, I'm sorry, they moved practice tomorrow to 12:30, so it'll be more like 2:30, 3 o'clock before Ron speaks on Tuesday. The team does have off Friday, Saturday, Sunday because this is kind of like bye week before the season starts. So everybody's taking off a few days because then you got to work 17 weeks in a row. Is Diami Brown safe? Asked Steve. I would cut him, but I don't think they will. But I don't see an upside on the guys. Got speed. I've seen plenty of fast players come. Got to catch the ball. And, he's been more of a 50-50 kind of guy. So I would he'll be buried on the depth chart, but I think he'll be back. Okay, Abe said, the team can rally around B-Rob and elevate the game? Sure. I mean, after Sean Taylor's death, this team was really struggling, and then they lost the first quick game, but then they won their last 4. I thought they were going to the Super Bowl that year, and Joe Gibbs said the same thing later. He thought they were going to the Super Bowl, and they got beat in Seattle. But, yes, sometimes that happens. Mojo Daddy Mystic, why isn't Frank Herzog in the Ring of Fame? Good question. I kind of like that, too. He should be. Will he be attending Sonny's jersey retirement? Well, that's in January. Haven't heard yet, but knowing Frank, probably on that. Frank's living retirement now in North Carolina, but he's in touch here and there. Frank's class guy. Okay, Mike says they had Seattle beat. Yeah, they did. There was I thought that turnover. If you remember that playoff game, they got a turnover on a kick, and he went into the scored, but then the rule said you can't advance it or something, and it took away a touchdown, and I think they didn't get the field goal, if I remember, and that cost them the game, really. But I remember, you just thought, wow. I think that was like a second quarter thing. That I can remember that is amazing, because the game's all blur too much for me. All right, what else? I started hearing a trickle of quotes, but not of cuts, but I think tomorrow it's tough. Rivera's Rivera's had to deal with so much off the field stuff. It's amazing. But and then today it's like, okay, you're dealing with this very near fatal situation with Brian, and it's like, okay, now you got to go cut 26 guys in the next day. Woo! So I think they decide mostly just wait till tomorrow morning, probably about 6-7 a.m. They usually do cuts. And then they can bring back 16 guys. Most of them will be on this team for practice squad. Few won't. So there's going to be at least 10 guys that don't come back. And they're going to scan the wires and find that Pro Bowl linebacker that somebody cut. Help's not really coming. Mike wants to know, is there a way to clutch defeat from the jaws of victory. This team finds it. Yeah, that's what scares me about Jacksonville game. This Jacksonville game is not going to be a gimme. I don't even know what the line is yet. Somebody out there might know, but Jacksonville's got a real coach. The quarterback now has a year of seasoning. They picked up several good free agents, and I don't know if that team is a winning team yet, but they're not going to be the worst team in the league. Abe says 3.5 spread, so I guess that's Washington. Man, that's right on the number. I was going to say a 3-point game. So I don't know. I don't bet. So because in my career, if you had bet on sports until legalized recently, you get fired. So I never got in the habit of any of that. And I have learned the closer you are to a team like I am, the worse you seem to know when it comes to betting. I'd probably just lose. You'll see. I have Saturday shows. I'll do called Beating the Books when we start the games. And last year, I think I was over 500 last year. I don't know. I'm not good at that. I'm good at horses. Gave out the Travers winner, for those of you who follow me. Paid $4. So 2 back and 2 profit. Brian says, thanks for everything. I appreciate it. You got to run. Got to run, Brian. Come on. There's nothing on TV tonight, is there? I don't know. All right. But I appreciate you stopping by on this. Let's see. It's still a couple weeks away from the updated version of 100 Things Redskins fans should know and do before they die. It would be Commanders fans with a Commanders helmet. And 5 new chapters and a lot of new stats and updated stuff. My publisher came up with this earlier in the year. I thought, well, I like money, sure. So I'll have my website up about a week. The book gets released September 13th because of supply chain problems. Great. So you'll be able to get it. You can get it from me and I'll sign it, or you can buy it at Amazon, but I get all the money. So don't give it to Amazon. They got enough of their own money. But I'll talk about that in a couple of weeks when I do the show. Next week's Labor Day on Monday, right? So I don't know. Should I do the show or not? I mean, I'm around. I don't get paid the day off. So I might, but maybe not. We'll see. Probably will. All right. No one currently on the free agency wire excites me in any position of need, says Michael. Yeah, like I said, you're not going to find some great value guys. They've done all that coming to camp. I mean, I'd say there's maybe 2 guys. The tight end Rodgers maybe surprised me there. But by and large, no. Robert wants to know how Sonny is doing these days, still playing golf. Haven't been able to talk to Sonny too much lately. But he's down in Naples, Florida. Does love golf, but I think he's watching golf more than he's playing golf anymore. And that's been that way for a while. But he, when I'm talking to him on a Thursday through Sunday, he's watching golf on TV while we're talking. So he still loves that. Let's see. My new book will be the only Commanders memorabilia they own, says Abe. Well, thanks. I haven't seen a lot of Commanders jerseys yet. I just think it's early in the process. Mike wants to know, why did Ron neglect the linebacker position this offseason? I guess they were hoping that Jamin Davis would get better. And I think he did get better. Now, is he good enough? I'm not sure, but he's getting better. And the same question kind of by Wobo. They might pick up a linebacker, but I don't think it'd be a starter. They might go depth. They might only go 4 linebackers because they are going to play more nickel, I think, this time. So it wouldn't surprise you can't put a 5th or 6th linebacker. So I'm not sure they'll pick anybody up, but I'm sure they'll be starting on the practice squad too. You'd have to put them on practice squad, somebody, because of injuries. You need to be able to pull people up that know your system. And of course, in Baltimore, we mostly saw just the reserves still learning that communications thing. But look at Sam Howell, had the most passing yards of anybody in the NFL during the preseason. There you go. I'm telling you, Sam Howell will start for this team at some point. I don't know when. It's Carson's job to lose, but I think Sam is good enough to start in this league. Michael thinks that 2 linebacker defensive scheme is asinine when none of them can cover. Well, I mean, you get who you can get, but I think we saw Jamin Davis make a couple plays in that first game, the Baltimore game. I was kind of hoping they'd beat Baltimore and knock that streak out just for fun. But, so way it goes. They came close. It wasn't a bad preseason. If I had to rate the preseason games, I'd give them a C. C minus overall. Not that that counts for anything, but overall, it wasn't too bad. And I asked people, me and everybody else has a pull up saying, did the preseason make you more encouraged, discouraged, or eh? And about 59% on my YouTube poll have said discouraged because, internet's where you hate everything. I think only 11% were more encouraged. And the rest were like, eh. It's so hard to see. I don't think you saw anything of the offense. I think you saw some of the defense. And it wasn't good enough on there. Oh, Steve hit the super fan button. Thank you, Steve. Where you can, down below, donate money to the Feed Rick Snider Fund. I would greatly appreciate it. I have to eat healthier. It costs more. You know how much Apple costs now? So I do appreciate the cash. If you like the free chats, throw some cash in. So since Steve asked the question, put some money up, I'll answer. Do I know if Kerrigan is still pitching in practice? Yes, I believe he is. Not sure for how long. I would not be surprised if he sticks the season. It's not costing him anything at this point. And they did get rid of a D-line coach, so maybe the new D-line coach could use him. Wouldn't be a bad deal for everybody, including Ryan, to decide does he want to be in coaching or not. If you got the money, honestly, if you've got the money as a player to retire, I'd go coach high school ball and have fun. Because the NFL is not a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. This assistant coaches work 80-plus hours a week. Go have fun teaching high school kids. That's what I would do. All right. Will we see Chase Young in the lineup? Is he practicing? Asked Robert. He's kind of practicing. He's doing things out on the field, but not the same thing as everybody else. I'm still guessing mid-season, but he'll be at least 4 games. Does Snyder cross DC off the list for the new stadium? It's not safe for players or fans, says Paul. It depends on where it is, but I think it was safe enough at RFK area. He hasn't crossed anything off the list. Maybe DC's crossed him off their list is more of the question. Let's see. I'd say Zach T. Mark. Carson Wentz passing yards over under 3,500. Over. They're going to throw a lot. I say he gets 4,000. So I'd go over on that one. Put me down for 50. No, I'm kidding. Don't put me down for anything. Would it be bad for Ted Landis to own another major sports team in the city? Asked the Wobo. Yes, I am. Not really looking for him to buy the Nats because then it's about he's doing a lot with gambling and cross promotion and all these things. It becomes a commodity. I like Ted a lot. I admire him in that he's a very intelligent man and a good person. I like Ted a lot. I just don't think it's good to have somebody own all the teams. Like Ted Turner did that in Atlanta. It didn't necessarily work out well. Could he buy the Commanders? That would be cool. Mike threw in some cash. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Feed Rick Fun. I'm down 35 pounds. This isn't going well. Well, actually, it's going well, but since I'm no longer going to die, it's great. So I can have a pizza fun. Yes, I can now. Now my health problems were not food related, but of course I was still going to try and lose more weight. Because they were back related. For those of you who didn't catch, I was on the ground numb and thought I had a stroke, but no, it turned out a couple of my discs in my back fired off my nerves. So weird, but that's a good thing. Paul Green, how much trust do coaches have in Joey kicking the season? Well, okay, when he misses that first field goal, I honestly was thinking, oh no, not this again. And then he makes 3. So I think we're okay. Right now we're okay on all that. Mojo Daddy asks, how will the offense fare without B-Rob and lineup? I don't know, not as good. They don't have that power back that he is anywhere. So, I'm sure Antonio's going to play until Brian's ready, whenever that is. Will Gibby step up? Yeah, he's going to be the best he can. He'll be okay. At least they're playing, a couple of softer teams. And, even though I just said it's not. But, Detroit and Jacksonville, that helps. We just got to see what Brian can do. I don't think Brian could tell you right now. He'll hope to be back soon. But you don't know. There's a lot that goes into this, mentally and physically. So, never been shot and hope I never am. So I have a hard time figuring this one out as to how he can do it. It's amazing how much video I've been able to see of all that going on around there. And the cameras in DC are just I miss my old town when you could not be under surveillance all the time on there. That said, I'm having a camera in my new home I'm building. It's going to be one of them doorbell cams. All right, Paul Green. Will Gibson become a starting running back? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who else would you put in there? JD's JD. I'm not sure if who's going to be the last running back. It's close. So, yeah, Gibson's your guy at this point. I mean, I think if you had to in an injury situation, JD could do it, but it's not what you want. So back to it. And I was doing a radio show, and somebody said they should trade Antonio Gibson for a starting linebacker. Said it last week. This is why you don't do that. Now, you can probably find a running back on the cuts list. That's one position that there is a little, potential there. Abe says Detroit will be a scrappy team this year. I won't give you that one. I mean, they got a quarterback, and anytime you have a quarterback, and Goff didn't play that badly last year. His stats weren't too different from his Rams days in the end. But he's playing with, not very good players versus the Rams. Super Bowl. Paul asks also, yes, Gibson will be the starting running back, although nothing's been named this way yet. They're still sorting everything out. I would be shocked, though, if they have to see which list they put him on first. No easy wins, says Abe. Yeah, not with this team. There's very few. Cleveland, I think, regrets getting Watson, asked Mike. I would. But Cleveland's Cleveland. There's a reason they've stunk a lot. They don't know how to handle quarterbacks either. They've drafted several times poorly. I think they've actually had one more quarterback than Washington has had in the last 30 years. It's close. When you go through all these carousels of quarterbacks, you're not going to do that well. So it's not a surprise. And I mean, there's so much money on that and all. And they knew all this stuff. Just like Buffalo. Oh, didn't really know anything about the charges against the punter. All I ever hear before draft, we research everybody. We talk to their long-lost twin cousin. Nonsense. So they don't do any of that stuff. They see what they want to see. Michael, is the red zone offense the biggest concern with this team? No. I'd still say the passing defense is bigger concern. I think Cole Turner gives them a bigger target in the back, so that's going to help. They got some tall tight ends. They're the biggest group of tight ends you've ever seen. I think that'll help them a lot. How much is beer this year in parking? Asked Robert. Beer, I saw is $16, but it is a 24-ounce can. So per ounce, it's not really too far away from. I know last week everybody thought, they're selling $6 beers. Yeah, but they're like this big. They're shot glass beers. So you are getting a big can of beer. Now, if you don't want to spend the money, don't. Parking's $50. I tell you what the bargain is, the club seats. You get free parking and food and stuff. And, yeah, you pay more for the ticket. But in the end, it's really not a bad deal. I think if I were doing this, I would get club seats and get the perks out of everything. How many games do I think they're going to win this season, asked Paul. Came into camp thinking 10. I'm now thinking 8. But I don't know. I would think 8. Or 9. They could be right around 500. I don't see them being great. I don't see the defense showing me a whole lot. And they tried to show some, but they kept giving up scores all the time. Didn't like that. The offense, I know, is playing possum a lot, but I don't think the defense was as much. So, you don't hide as many plays defensively there. So, a little discouraged by that. And, they need a returner. Mike says he'll go 6 or 7 after the shooting tragedy. I mean, this could hurt him a couple games on that. And, first off, we all say we hope it's all about Brian and his health. But then you have to move on to the next thing. That's what Ron said today, too. It's like when Sean Taylor died. You had to go to the funeral, and then you had to play a game on Thursday. That was crazy. They were all in Miami, I think it was Tuesday. And they had a home game on Thursday. It's the craziest week of all. But they had to go do it. Who's carrying the games? It's Robert. It's Big 100. It's 100.3 FM. That is an iHeart radio station. I did listen to it some with the Baltimore game just to hear Bram and the guys. And I did fine. But I did like Doc on the preseason games. But Doc's a warrior. Doc's ready to go fight somebody. Doc's in his 70s now. He's still going to knock you out. So don't fight with Doc. Yeah, I thought Doc had some really great observations about the games in the preseason. But the radio crew, Bram Weinstein does a great job on there. So I like listening to Bram. So Big 100.3. It's kind of strange. It's a classic rock station, which I listen to a lot anyway. So it's kind of weird that we're all classic rock, except for these 3 hours we play football. Okay, I just thought it was better on a sports station, but hey, they paid the money more, and this team's popularity dwindling and the ratings dwindling didn't make it a good deal for Odyssey to keep them. And yeah, Robert, Don Geronimo has been around. I remember Don and Mike's show from, oh gosh, 25, 30 years. You know, Don's about my age, so he's mellowed a little. Am I going to any road games, says Paul? No, nobody pays me to go to road games anymore. I traveled for many, many, many years, like more than 20. I'm glad to be done on this. Might even be my last year covering this team. I'm not sure yet. What happened to Joe Theismann, asked Mike. Joe had schedule conflicts and couldn't do the games in the preseason. But Joe's around the park. I see him. You know, he's out there probably every week out there. Love Joe. Great guy. Hank wants to know, will Gibson be the starter if Robinson doesn't go? Or JD? Gibson. I can't imagine you don't want to risk JD too many plays. Good playmaker. You want to play him in spots. It's always what you want to find is people who are good in roles in the league, because not everybody's an every down player. Just like I really think that Taylor Heineke is a really good reliever and spot starter, but not a 17-game starter. But he has value in those roles, just like Gus Frerotte did. Gus was in the league like 15 years doing that. Come in, play well. Mike wants to, let's see if Wes Martin can carry the ball. Yeah, Wes Martin is back. They picked him up again, and he was a draft pick a couple years ago. And I thought Wes had some potential. So I'm glad to see they brought him back. Robert, is Doc going to do any Commanders radio? I have not heard that. I know he's doing a show right now on 980, just while somebody else is off on his honeymoon. So Doc's been on the radio for about a week. 980 in the afternoons, like 2 o'clock or so, I think. You can listen to Doc if you need a fix. 980 a.m., the team, which is also part of a sister station of 106.7 The Fan. So, which is where I also work too. So I do write a column for 106.7 The Fan 2 times a month. They had to save some money, so I'm only writing 6 times a month. But I'll be in Wednesday doing this. Looks like we had a few people tonight. I didn't pub the show as much on there. For all you newcomers, hit the super fan thanks button, and you get your name in lights, and I get some money, so I do appreciate that. Am I a shameless whore anymore like doing this? I don't know what to tell you. I do tour guiding too, and people tip me. When I started doing that about 10 years ago, it was so weird. Never been tipped in my life. And I got greedy. but now I look at tips like, hey, if you do, that's great. I appreciate it. I'll take the money. Could use it. Pandemic has not been kind. Lost a lot of my good gigs. But I love doing this, and so I hung around the last 3 years of my career here to do this. Probably would have been better off working for Amazon delivery, but I like doing this, so why not? Money's not everything. Never take a job for money. I always tell people that, but sometimes you have to. Give money till it hurts, says Grandizer. Thank you. I hope you heard a lot. Mojo Daddy says, given all he's had to deal with since arriving here, if Reiner wins the big one, where would you rank among Washington coaches? Well, he's definitely had to deal with as much BS stuff as I think anybody ever has. I'd have to really think about who's gotten the most BS, but it probably ranks right up there. So maybe. Paul asked, if Snyder stripped from team ownership, do you think the new owner would move the team away? No, I'm pretty sure the NFL would stop that. They want a team in the nation's capital because it is the 7th largest TV market, among other things, too. Let's see. Somebody said, Granddad said, I do an Elmo impression. It's not Elmo. Oh, matter of fact, here he is now. Hey, it's Andy Reid, everybody. Andy likes to come on the show. Hey, Andy, I told you to stay off of my show. Andy comes by whenever Washington's playing Kansas City or just wants to be a wise guy because we kind of look alike, and people said, doppelgangers. Yeah, I'm kind of looking. No, you're not. Anyway, go away, Andy. Go somewhere else. He does sound like Elmo, though. That's his problem, not mine. Okay. But how will Robinson change my fantasies? Yeah, I mean, okay. All you guys drive me nuts. Okay, I'm at Arlington Cemetery lot. Is Jack Kent Cooke there? No, he's buried at a little church in Upperville, Virginia. I did a YouTube video on it if you want to search for it. It's near Middleburg where he lived. That's just a little brass plaque that says his name and the years. That's it. He was a Canadian and he was not in our military, which is pretty much the only way you get in. There's a couple other exemptions, but not many. Don asks, who would consider a bigger sports icon, Johnny U or Cal? I knew Johnny U. I was his ghostwriter for a couple years. Really nice man. And was a big deal, but I would say Cal. Yeah, I'd say Cal. But I read a funny one where Sonny supposedly said that, Johnny U opened the Golden Arm restaurant in Baltimore, and Sonny was there eating. And he said, hey, Johnny, you named your restaurant after me? So, just playing with him. All right, Mr. Bill. Thank you, Steve. Mr. Bill. That's kind of where we're talking about here. Mike says, Andy Reid owns us. Andy, did you own us? You better believe it, fat boy. Andy. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Granddad can't believe people are upset about their fantasy teams. Yeah, come on, man. Let's do better than this. Mark says, hello, Commanders. There you go. I think they should call the old Redskin Park, they should call it the Command Post. They had a sense of humor about it. If Ted purchased the Nationals, do you think he would stick it to Peter Angelos and put Nats on MSC? That's a good question, Raymond. I don't know. There's a lot going on because he's bought. The question is, do the Commander show still go on that NBC Sports Washington or whatever they're going to call it next on there? Does Dodson have a chance to win Rookie of the Year? Yes, Hank. Maybe. That's a good question. If he gets the chances, maybe. How's the turf at Commander Stadium? Yes, Marcus. Well, I only saw it for the first preseason game. It looked okay on there. Shapeshifter says commies. Yeah, I know that's coming all the time. Do I know Robert asked about Phil Wood? Yeah, I know Phil. He knows a lot about baseball. I think he's retired now. Do I get to vote for the Eclipse Awards? Asked Don. Yes, I have. I've been voting 20, 30 years for the Eclipse Awards, which are horse racing, for those of you who don't know. Keep voting for myself, but no. But yeah, I get it. They send me a big pack. I'm still in the Racing Writers. Let's see. Grandizer, hitting a like button to show support. Hope you get over 20 likes. Oh, I appreciate that. That'd be nice. Why didn't Jack Kent Cooke leave the team to his son? Do I really think you think he ruined the franchise with that move? Because he wanted to start a foundation. I talked about it last week, but if you have kids that are going to college or grad school, the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation gives scholarships, some serious money. And Cooke wanted the money to fund that. Now, they thought the team would go for like $250 million, but because they were just opening a new stadium and the first big TV contract came in, and the Cleveland Browns went for like $530 million as a franchise fee, suddenly they're worth $800 million. So I don't think Cooke envisioned that, but that's why, and I don't think John wanted it. I think he wanted the money because he got 10%. Emilio, can McKissick be an every down back or just third down? He could, but I would not use him every down. Granddaughter says, try and get me over 3,000 subs. Yeah, I get 2,800. I appreciate everybody that does that. If you hit the subscribe button, I usually post around 7 in the morning, 7 in the evening, sometimes middle of the day if something's going on. And I appreciate it. Am I a Caps fan, Shapeshifter F? I've been watching these guys since they came in, what was it, 73? I don't watch all the games, but I watch some of them. And I support every Washington team. I'm a Washingtonian. Washington. So I like to see all Washington teams win. And I couldn't tell you who plays for a lot of other teams around the country because I really concentrate on local teams. But I still don't know whose Nats are playing most nights when I watch. Who's these guys? Whew. Yeah, it's such a sad thing. Marcus, I like real grass better than AstroTurf. Yeah, although the fake stuff has come a long way. It used to be like a green carpet, but now it's come a long ways. I've been on them, and they're nice. Marcus, I was surprised the Commanders are the 6th most valuable. They used to be 1 or 2 or 3, but now they've slipped all the way to 6. Rick, do my best Harry Carey. I don't do a very good Harry Carey, Grand Hodge. Why you never try to get a job with the Washington Post? Asked Robert. I did work for the Washington Post Express, which was their daily tabloid version, but they shut that down a couple years ago, right before the pandemic. So it's up to the Post to want me, and I guess they didn't want me. There used to be a real rivalry in newspapers. I worked at the Times. It's kind of like a blood feud. Not like that anymore because everybody's a survivor in the journalism world. So it didn't work out. But I worked at the Times for 20 years, the Examiner for, I think, 8, and the Express for, I think, 6. I've been at 106.7 The Fan for about 9 years with them, among others. I worked for a lot of other places too. But like a lot of people told me, after 50, I've worked more jobs than I did before 50. And that's the new world. That's why I'm thinking this could be my last season. But I'll see at the end of the season how much my new house cost me and if I can afford to. But I'm getting to the end of a career. Been 44 years so far. So I was hoping to go to 50. Maybe I will. We'll see. I've learned not to plan things anymore. Okay, was Jack Kent Cooke more a Lakers or Redskins fan? He was definitely a Redskins fan, I think, more than anything. Marcus, I've been checking out the new NFL Plus. Seems better than the old NFL Game Pass. Never seen either, but I'm usually watching Washington game. I don't have time to watch a lot of other games. I tend to watch the Sunday night game and Monday night game. Not so much the Thursday nighter. So I hope it. It's just them. It's just the NFL trying to make all the money themselves. Robert Stevens, the tour guide pay well. Yeah, I make anywhere from 50 to 100 an hour. Walking around, get the exercise, which is great. I liked it just as much. So, if you want to come to Washington, go to monumentalthoughts.com, and my website's there. You can see what I do. But pretty much anything in town can do that. So, yeah, it does pay pretty well. It's just there's only so much work. Last 2 years have been nothing with the pandemic. And this year is some. I do a lot of Smithsonian tours this year. I don't know why. But it's been a bigger demand for that. But I have Lincoln Assassination coming up soon, and Embassy Row, like 90-minute tours, walk around if you want to come. Have I ever written sports for the city paper? Asked Ramon. No. I talked to him once, but be honest, didn't pay enough, more than anything. I could have, but Michael said, do I do ghost tours? Ooh, no. People have asked me about it. I talk about ghosts on my tours, but I don't do ghost tours. I just don't see myself. I don't think I'd make it as fun as people would like. So there's ones in Alexandria if you want to go on those. And I talk about them. There's a lot of ghosts around the White House and the White House. They say that Mary Surratt's daughter bangs on the White House door every night, or ghost, asking for clemency for Mary Surratt, who was hung as part of the Lincoln conspirators, and my third cousin. So another third cousin of sorts was John Wilkes Booth. So I'm heavy into the Lincoln conspiracies because I live a few miles from Dr. Mudd. It's who we are. I'm also related to Jesse James, but I'm related to 5 presidents, so I'm not all bad. Let's see. Robert got redacted. He must have been a bad boy. Thank you, Michael. Okay. Turn the lights off, put the flashlight over my head. Okay. All right. Thanks for that idea, Grand Dodger. Am I more optimistic for the offense or defense? God, I hate to say this, Marcus, but I think the offense is going to be the better of the two. Paul asked about the Showtime thing and with Cook. Never got to see it. People asked me about it, but I want that into the Lakers. I don't feel like wasting an hour to see what Cook did for 2 seconds. Is this a must-win season for Ron? Ask Hank. I think it is for his staff. I think some of these guys, if Ron might stay another year, but not all the staff may not. I can see this coming. We'll see. I mean, I think Ron's the right guy to be a coach because, man, he's able to kind of handle so much craziness that's going on around this team. Think of it all in the last 2 years. David wants to know, what's the most proud of in my career? Probably getting the team sale right when I beat the Post. Big time on that. Not afraid to say it. I'm the one that had Dan Snyder getting it. I had the one saying Milstein was not getting it. I was way ahead of everybody on that. Thank you very much. And I was proud of my beat years. I thought I did very well. But it comes at a price, which is 80, 100-hour weeks. My heart blew up. I had to move back in life a little bit. Now I'm just a tribal elder. Okay. Robert once said, did I meet Mo Siegel or was he before my time? Well, Mo goes back to like the edge of society. But yes, I worked with Mo at the Washington Times. I had to teach Mo how to use a computer. Oh, my God, I don't know what I did in life to deserve that. But Mo was a mean old guy. But he was an old-time newspaper guy. Mo would do crazy stuff like you come back with your receipts for road trips. You just throw them on the sports editor's desk and go, here, you figure out how much it is. And Mo could spend some money. We were at the Super Bowl once, and Mo came out of a restaurant. Some of us are thinking of going in. And we say, Mo, what's it like? He goes, well, it's a little pricey. We turned around because wait a minute, Mo said it was pricey? Yeah, my sports editor would have dropped me for eating there. Grandizer, am I moving? You got all those boxes. Yes, I am building a retirement home for my wife. Moving farther out in Southern Maryland, and got a great place with 3 acres, big home near all my kids and grandkids. So I'm looking forward to that. Moving in a couple months. So I've been, man, you live in one place 35 years. It's amazing how much stuff you got in a box. Hey, Rick, just wanted to pop in and say hi. It says Cairo, I guess it is. At work at the moment, but listen when I can. Thank you. And then this does go on replay. It's archived in YouTube. So as soon as this is over, you can watch the whole thing whenever you want. Beat writers put in 80 or 100-hour weeks covering the team. Wow. I put in probably 80. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of work, man. There's always something. Look at last night. You know, you get a call, something happened to Brian Robinson, you're working for a few hours again, you know, on a day off. I mean, yeah, if you want to be good at this, you have to give it everything you have. Because the other guys are too. And there's a really good press corps covering the Commanders now. I know you guys like to give them a hard time, but it's a bunch of really good people covering this team. It's never been easy because you're playing. It's the best reporters out there are covering the NFL. It's where the money is. It's where everything is. I mean, if you love basketball, go cover the NBA. But I did it not because I wanted to cover football, but because I knew it would be the best thing for my career. I was doing horse racing. I loved horses. I'd go back tomorrow if they'd let me, but nobody wants it anymore. Have I been to the Minnesota Vikings Stadium? Asked Marcus. I went to the old Metrodome, and that's where I saw the Redskins beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. And I was there a couple other times. Cold. Oh, man, Minnesota cold. How do you people live there? Did I write or remember UDC Division II? Yes, I covered Will Jones, Raymond. Will Jones was a championship cusser. My God, I thought I was bad. I just had to automatically take out the cuss words from every quote. I had nothing left. But Will Jones was a great guy. Great guy. I got food poisoning at a UDC game at Norfolk State and literally had to take me to the ER. I ate in the press room. I don't know what happened there. I had to walk back in the morning, missed the game. Will Jones called my editor and gave him what happened in the game. They lost. And Will Jones called my editor and filled them in so they could have a short story. Woo! You know, I always appreciate that. He passed away a couple years ago. But he had a great program at UDC. For a few years there. Let's see. What fellow journalist was the most fun to be around with? Asked Steve. Well, you know, my buddy is John Kine. John and I have worked together on a lot of things for a lot of years. If you ask me who was the hardest person I ever had to go against, Richard Justice of the Post. Richard was, and it was a great guy. But Richard was every bit as competitive as I was. And a great writer, knew everybody, worked hard. Best writer I ever went against. He's kind of, I think, semi-retired now, down in Texas, writing Texas Monthly. Richard's a great journalist. I say that with respect. Let's see. You guys are asking a lot of non-commanders today. It's good. Why do you think Charlie Taylor? Well, Robert is. Why do you think you never knew Charlie Taylor too much? Kind of before my time. I mean, I watched him play, but didn't cover him. Mark says, I heard Bob Glauber retired. Never heard of him. Well, Bob, okay, yeah, I knew Glauber. I think he said 45 years, his career. I've known him about 30. Glauber, great guy. Knew football as well as anybody. And, you know, unfortunately, you get old in this business, all my friends around the league, I used to know everybody in every city. They're all gone. They're either dead, retired, or laid off, honestly. So many of the legendary guys, John Clayton passed away. So many, Goose down in Dallas is retired. Vito's retired. The legends, we all get old, and we leave it to the next generation, I guess. Did I ever interview Wes Unseld? Asked Paul. Yes, I was a Bullets beat co-beat writer for one season, I think 92. And you go to the practices, and they'd let you watch it. And you had to always watch Wes, because Wes would like to wing a ball at the media, at your heads, and hard, not so soft toss. He would wing a ball at you. You would flinch and it'd miss you. And he'd laugh. And he was playing around, but this dude's big. He played hard. The only time I have ever seen a ball player cry, and I won't say his name because I'm not sure if I remember the right player's name, but they were going up for a rebound, and he got his legs cut out from under him, and he comes straight down, bam, on the court. And he starts crying. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, he's broke his back or something. And Wes comes over and grabs him, pulls him up, and says, come on, you big baby. And I was like, Wes, this dude's hurt. No, he's being big baby. Wes was a tough, but it was kind of a fun guy. I wish his son well. His son sounds so different than his father. It's always gone, wow. I have a little bit of my father's accent and some of my mom's, but you get me down to Carolina, where my dad's from, I'll be talking Southern before I know what I'm doing. Grand Dodger says, I was there for Harry Carey's first take me out in the ball game. No, I was covering the White Sox that day. Let's see, Clayton was going on ESPN. Yeah, I knew Clayton when he was a newspaper man, Marcus, a little bit. Robert says, Sam Huff was my pal. Miss him a lot. Yeah, Sam was a great guy. A man's man on that. And so sad how he had to finish his life out. But Sam was tough as nails and had a high moral compass. Worked hard. A real role model to me. He and Sonny, I've always said the best perk of my job covering this team. I grew up in this town, so these are the guys I watched. And I got to meet these legends and get to know them pretty well. So it's awesome to be able to say that. What do I think about USA legalizing sports game betting? Asked Marcus. I think it's a terrible thing in a way. I mean, everybody was doing it, and so it's nice that you're not going to be arrested anymore. This stuff, but I think it corrupts. You're going to see, if you lose faith in the game because of the gambling, you're going to stop watching the game. You're going to start hating the game. Not a big one on gambling for that reason. I love the game, and I'm sure the next generation doesn't quite love it the same way. Michael says, Wes is the guy I picked up and threw Lambeer. Ooh, Lord, I didn't see that one. I remember. Lambeer was a mountain, too. Chicago, Steve. I don't say Chicago. I have a friend, Jack. He lives in Chicago. Let's see. Nick asked, thoughts on the wide receiver bubble? I just think Milne makes it over Erickson on there. Let's see. Mike, why do the Cowboys always seem to have an all-star running back, quarterback, wide receiver? I guess they put more effort into it than some teams. Steve said, wish we wouldn't advertise the game one. Yeah, I just don't think it's a good look. Robert's got to go to bed or something? All right, Robert. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. I'll see you next week. VP Glove says, what level of hell do you think you're going? Like me personally going to hell, I guess? I'm not going to any level of hell. I'm going to heaven. So I've been baptized in the river a few years ago. So good enough for Jesus, good enough for me. The older you get, I think we all get closer to God. At least I like to think so. And if you don't, that's your business and your problem. Rick, you got no bots. Okay. Well, I got Michael out there watching for you bots. So I appreciate it, so I can spend time doing this instead of going, hold on, man, let me block this guy. What game am I more afraid of, Jacksonville or Detroit? Asked Paul. Jacksonville. I really, really worry about that game. And then if they lose the Jacksonville game, I'm going to really worry about Detroit. 0-2, I'll be sitting here talking to myself on Mondays, to say the least. Jacksonville, I think, is a decent one. Oh, somebody's in a timeout right now. Okay. Andrew, club level beer and tip equals $21.80. Am I stupid or just dumb? You're generous, I guess. Hey, it's your money, man. I'm not telling you if you want to spend it on it, go ahead. I know that you have to pay by credit card now. I can imagine somebody's bills like, I drank how much that day when you get them back. That's the dangerous part, too. You run out of cash, you can maybe stop drinking beer, but not anymore. Have any good rigging stories? Mojo Daddy missed them. Yeah, too many. I'd be here all night with that. I will say, I had a heart attack 20 years ago this coming Sunday, being my 20th anniversary. Massive heart attack at Redskin Park. Bubba the trainer saved my life that day. And it was just a week after I wanted to try and break Riggins' hot dogs record of 22 hot dogs in Carlisle. But we could not agree if the buns were part of the deal, and I wasn't going to go buns too. So I didn't do it. Thank goodness. That probably would have been the last thing to put me under. Hank said, any journalist you got along with throughout the years? Oh, I never got along with. Yeah, but I don't want to talk about that because then I look like I'm just being bitter. Sure, there are guys I'm sure that don't love me either. That's okay. You know. Ooh, Michael got another bad guy off the air. Good. Outlaw King, does Gibson put get the one? Yes. Outlaw. Gibson's going to be, I would think, be a starter. Marvin, do I think the Commanders start 2-0? Yes, I think they'll start 2-0, but I don't think could the total margin be 10 points in the two games? Maybe. It's going to be close. So Paulie said he's never heard any story about what an owner Abe Poland was. Well, I wasn't around Abe a lot. I know he was very generous in the community. Supported DC schools, stuff you never heard about, but I mean, he's a guy who put computers in these schools, lunches on tables. Abe donated a lot of money to charity. Revitalized. He built that arena on his own money, and that revitalized that area. The Penn Quarter. I think they said it's like $6 billion of new construction spurred by the arena, just like Nats Park redid Navy Yard. Abe was very important things on there. A little too loyal to certain coaches, I think. And that's what Michael said, too, yeah. Abe was like that. And Ted Leon's the same way. They've been a little too loyal. Is that a bad thing? I guess in some respects, yes. Marcus Mustard. In Minnesota, not sure about Kirk. Do I support Dan Snyder and how he handles the Cousins contract? No. But I think that was more Bruce Allen mishandling that than Dan. Because Dan doesn't know. Dan's biggest mistakes were his two GMs, Serrato and Allen. There's two big mistakes. Is Patterson making a team, says Mike. If I had to flip a coin right now, I'll say no. But I think it's very close because of the Robinson situation. Outlaw, if the defense fails to produce this season, do you think Del Rio will get fired? Yeah, absolutely. And should. There's talent. There's enough talent on this defense to be a good team. So if it's not working, it's because the coaching's not getting there. Thoughts on the cornerback bubble, Danny Johnson or Christian Holmes? Yes, Nick. Christian Holmes will be the one who doesn't make a team. Paul asks, is Ted going to buy the Nationals? I know he's making a bit of it. He's also got Daniel Rubenstein, who's a big hedge fund guy in Washington, as a partner in it, a minor partner. And Rubenstein is the guy who supports a lot of historical projects. Like he's the guy that fixed the Washington Monument, put a lot of money in there. He's the guy that's funding a museum. It's going to be under the Lincoln Memorial. It's going to be as big as the Lincoln Memorial underground. That's Daniel putting that money in. He helped restore Monticello. He likes to put money in places that need help. The government doesn't help. So, Steve, what's better, Bull Durham or Field of Dreams? I love both. Field of Dreams. Maybe because I saw Field of Dreams like a month after my dad died. And my dad was spent a year in the minors, New York Yankees. He was a 6'5" left-handed first baseman, married a 5-foot woman. Here I am in the middle. Yeah, if I was 6'5", probably be in prison for doing something stupid as a kid. But Field of Dreams, was everything. My dad was a baseball guy, and he thought football was stupid, so he'd probably laugh at what I'm doing. But my father supported me. He was a great guy. He died in 1989. Too young. My favorite Tom Hanks movie is Hot Law. There's so many. I mean, I could think of one, and then I'd say something else. I mean, Forrest Gump is always a classic. But there's so many. I always watch Tom Hanks movies. Always. I don't think I missed any. Like Gene Hackman. I used to always watch Gene Hackman. Or John Wayne. These guys. Have I ever picked up Frank Howard's baseball bat? No. What's he swing, Michael? Probably a 44 or something crazy. So So Paul wants to know if I'm moving, I'm still doing DC tours. Yeah, because I'm only going to be 45, 50 minutes outside of DC in Southern Maryland. Not too far. I can't come in. Money. Got even tired. You got to have something to do and got to make a little money. So there's tours. You go to monumentalthoughts.com. You can see my tours. We have one a week from. We have one this Saturday. No, week from Saturday. Lincoln Assassination. It's like $20 on sale. So bring your friends and family. Bring your enemies. That's it. Wow, we're almost to the hour. Andrew, how concerned am I about Trevor Lawrence? Man, this kid was great at college. I know he had a hard year last year because Jacksonville was messed up. But I think he's somebody to watch. So Michael says Frank Howard is 48 to 54 ounces. Wow. I know it's like the swing of 44. I should have been swinging something smaller as a kid. 54 ounces? Wow. That's crazy. And to get around and maybe pitch him like that. So Frank Howard was my father's favorite player. That's how old this guy was. He's still around. Everybody loved Frank Howard. Before him, Harmon Killebrew, first baseman for the other Senators team. And then the new Senators came in 61 when the old ones went to Minnesota. Then the new ones stayed for 10 years and went to Texas, if you're not a Washingtonian to know that. So Harmon Killebrew, really good one. And do I have my baseball? No, I don't have my baseball. I do have a Duke Snyder baseball signed. I don't have much memorabilia, but since we spell our names the same way, I never got to see him play, but always liked the name. There's a Snyder now, plays for San Francisco. My favorite San Francisco player, Buster Posey. Love the name. And he was a good ball player. Will we get a pass rush besides Sweat, asked Paul. Yeah, Jonathan Allen's it wouldn't surprise me if he gets near 10 sacks. Chase will be back sometime October. How do I rank our quarterbacks? I think just like they are, Jorge. Right now it's Wentz 1, Heineke 2, and Sam 3. But eventually Sam's going to be the guy. Now, when is it? I don't know. If Carson keeps the job, as long as he plays well for this year. What do I think of the new fight song, Mojo? I think they played it too slow. I think you got to pick up the beat. Honestly, you can just play the music. Everybody's going to sing Hail the Redskins anyway. You can't have music police out there. Sorry, corporate world. You can't tell us what to sing. So I think fans will still do that for a long time until those teams any good. Do I think Jeff Bezos would be a better owner than Dan Snyder, Al Long King? Well, I think yes, but you see what Bezos is not an easy man to work for. His Amazon empire didn't get built by him being soft on things. And you hear about, warehouse workers and all. It would be a business to him. And, you want it to be a passion too. It's got to be a business, but you want people to love the game, love the sport. The money's there irregardless because the TV contracts pay for everything. So you want somebody that loves the game and is willing to support the team. Now, and Dan Snyder does. I've never heard, but they said, well, we would have done this if we had the money. Never heard that happen. So I don't think I'd be a fan of Bezos really being the owner on there. So, all right. Little anyone would be a better owner, says Michael. Yeah, Vladimir Putin would be an upgrade. I'm not sure if Vladimir Putin would be an upgrade on there. That dude, scary. Hopefully he doesn't do anything crazy to ruin the world. All right. So, good question. Don't like the pants on the Commanders. Why no stripes on the sides? That's a common thing, Paul. A lot of people have said that. Being the fashionista I am, I would have put them on. I don't know. I never noticed much. I do like separate colors, jersey versus pants. I like jerseys where I can read the name easier. The ones that were on last Thursday, people say that's what they play. Maybe I've got a new TV. Maybe that's it. They look almost purple, Merlot or something. They look burgundy to me. It's really weird. Maybe it was the lights or something. There's old ones they had as a football team, this classic throwbacks. They had, it was really hard to see the names on the back. And given the press box is halfway up the stadium, I need all the help I can get. Especially since, notice this in the games, they always play, I sit above the player tunnels. They always seem to be playing most of the game down the other end of the field. I'm telling you, if we charted it, I'll bet you 75% of the plays are down that end of the field, and 75% of the injuries are down toward my end of the field. Paul, I don't like the pants. All right. Oh, you should write him a letter. Okay, Brian's back from Wichita, Kansas. So, are you a lineman? Literally ran 3+ miles. There you go. I ran 3 miles. It took me from Monday to Thursday, but I got there. And of course, those you remember the Glenn Campbell song, I am a lineman for the county. Yeah. I think it was a Wichita lineman. If that's the same song, I could be confusing him. Glenn Campbell is really great. My parents really loved him. My parents were country music people when I was 60s, 70s rock kid. But it's amazing how much country music I know. Oh, Jimmy Webb was that one. Okay. I thought I was thinking it was Glenn. Maybe because it was, no, I don't know. Maybe because it was that cowboy movie. Where do I think the new stadium will be, Mojo says. Whoever matched the magic and mystique of RFK. Listen, RFK was a dump. Let's be honest about this. RFK was an old dump. But the team was great. And that's what makes a house a home. So, and it was simple times when people went to games to watch games versus worrying about all the perks and such. So, I think it'd be better at RFK. How did Snyder spend to fix Fedex Stadium? I know in the early years they put $50 million in. I'm not sure what the total number is anymore. And now, I'm selling my house, so I'm not putting in new granite countertops for the next guy. Dan's not going to fix up that stadium anymore than he has to before they want to knock it down. Marcus says, do I think Dan Snyder could lure someone better than Riverboat Ron to D.C.? No. Because look at all the coaches that have been here. How many of those coaches have gone on anywhere else to do something? Jay Gruden is now a consultant. He was a coordinator before. So, no, not really on there. So, last chance it's a super fan money. I appreciate that. Some of you are chipping in. I do this to make money, but I do it to just help out and talk to guys. I know you don't really get to talk to the media directly this much. And if it's my last year, I get to say goodbye to everybody. So, not saying it's my last year yet. I really won't know until January. Is it possible Ron could take this team 15-1 like Carolina is saying? Not with this one. Maybe in a couple more years you get more great players. But no, this isn't a 15-1 team. Okay. Marcus asked me something I can't understand. And it's 9 o'clock, so I have to wrap up. If you got any more questions, ask them now. Because I got to get some sleep eventually. Okay, Steve says, thanks for the stories. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody coming on Mondays. Like I said, coming soon. You can get the new Commanders book. We'll talk about it maybe next week. On everything, Seasons of Discontent, my podcast is just going up now on YouTube. 15 minutes with my buddy Matt, and we talk about a lot of stuff. And, of course, the 2-minute shows are up. I just posted one of those, too. I got to go do the morning show before I go to bed. So, all right, best questions for game days. Yeah, I don't talk a lot on game days. Thanks for everything, Mojo Daddy. Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Jorge. I appreciate it with all this. Yeah, to all your friends, it's a great show on Monday nights. You can ask anything you want. Rick answers them all, pretty much. I'm glad I can keep up with the questions. Marcus going 10-7. I'd love to see him do that. Winning teams make happy people to talk to. So why would I want to talk to mean people? I have the internet for that. And there, Paul says, good night. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Like I said, the show is on replay. As soon as we get done with this, it'll be starting up again. You can watch it again and again. Who wouldn't want to do that? I don't have the heart for that because I see how many stupid things I say. But that's it, I guess. Let's see. Everybody loves the bell. I got this bell. I didn't steal it off of a hotel counter. I bought it $5. So if you want to start a show, $5 for a bell, $5 for markers. I had a whiteboard. $10, I got a show. So it works. Hank, glad you come for daily news. I appreciate it. Do I give love advice? Yes, be nice. Be nice. And that'll go a long way. But I've been married 42 years, so I don't have much dating advice. But I do have marital advice. Listen to what your wife tells you to do. She's probably right on this. And Mark says, go Commanders. Thanks, Marcus. Appreciate it. And Bill just started listening. Oh, you listen tonight. Okay, I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody coming. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and try and watch me during the week. And I guess we're done. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thanks for coming. I'll see you soon.